earlier today I came across a PFF article ranking the wide receiver rooms around the NFL. And this is written by Trevor Sikkema. He's got a lot of great draft content. Really enjoy watching a lot of the videos he does over there. But PFF here, Trevor Sikkema ranks all 32 receiving cores. And so I was curious where the Packers would be ranked. I do feel like this Packers receiver room is definitely underrated just on the basis of how everyone around the NFL sees them. And so here we have, they get ranked 21st in the NFL. Here's what Sikkema says. Running back Josh Jacobs led the Packers in PFF receiving grade 89.2. It was a career high mark, but the rest of the pass catching unit left something to be desired. The team's 8.1% drop rate was the fourth highest in the league, and only Jaden Reed surpassed 800 receiving yards. Still, Tucker Kraft emerged as Green Bay's go-to tight end with a 71 PFF receiving grade, and Reed, Romeo Doubs, and Christian Watson all recorded PFF receiving grades between 71 and 73. First-round draft pick Matthew Golden should help the cause. There are a lot of names to consider in the Packers receiving core, but none truly strike fear into defenses right now. So I do not agree with 21st. In my mind, I would say the Packers, especially with the addition of Matthew Golden and also throwing in there Savion Williams, I would say they're in the top 10 in my mind. And they may not have the number one guy like a CeeDee Lamb or Justin Jefferson, someone that's head and shoulders above the rest when it comes to production. But I think you can just look at the Packers offense last year and just even looking at their stats, it shows that while they don't have that guy that's head and shoulders, as I said, above the rest, they have, I think, some of the deepest, some of the most talent overall in a receiver room. It's just spread out a lot more, which is why Jordan Love spreads the ball around so much, which I think at times can be beneficial when defenses don't know exactly who you're going to be looking at every single play. And let's just look at the Packers' stats from last year. 3rd in pass yards per play, 12th in pass yards per game, even though they were 30th in pass rate, 7th in EPA per pass, and 8th in points per game. And so I just don't think that when you look at, 7th in EPA per pass, 3rd in pass yards per play, I just don't buy that the Packers receiving room is 21st in the NFL. I'd be fine around 10 to 15 is more reasonable. I'd probably put them closer to 10, especially now with Matthew Golden. And, if the Packers had an offense that was a middle-of-the-road offense, and let's say they were, 20th in pass yards per game and 15th in pass yards per play, okay, maybe I could buy 21st. But clearly the Packers' offense was very good in 2024. And yes, they weren't as dominant against some of the best offenses in the NFL. But they were still very, very good, and I find it hard to believe the Packers could be that good with a bottom third in the NFL receiver room. And the Packers receivers were some of the best when it came to overall route win rate in the NFL, according to Fantasy Points data. Guys with at least 100 snaps, snaps, I believe. Dobbs was 3rd in win rate in the NFL. Christian Watson 6th, Dontavian Wicks 7th. So these guys get open. I know they had a problem with drops. No doubt that definitely hurt the Packers. But I would still put this as a top 10 unit, probably around 10-ish, 8 to 10, with the addition of Matthew Golden. And I was curious to see, where they graded Jordan Love, just in his PFF grade. I had forgotten where they graded him. And they graded Jordan Love 20th in the NFL in PFF grade for the regular and postseason. Bo Nix was ahead of him. Trevor Lawrence was ahead of him. Aaron Rodgers was ahead of him. And so I just don't see how, the Packers, according to PFF here, have the 21st best receiver room. Jordan Love's graded as the 20th best quarterback. And yet the Packers were a top 10 scoring offense, 3rd in pass yards per play, 7th in EPA per pass. So I just think that PFF is undervaluing the Jordan Love and this Packers receiver room. And as I said, I'll put them around. I would put them in the top 10. And I think you can just look at the stats from last year and see what they were able to do, how productive they were. Were they perfect? No. Are there areas for improvement? No doubt. Jordan Love can get better. The receivers can get better. But this is a very solid unit. And I think we're going to see even greater things in 2025 with the addition of Matthew Golden, what he can do with his deep speed, with his ability to, get open underneath quickly, should be able to help Jordan Love in the quick passing game. There's just so many things I love about this Packers offense. And there's no doubt that Josh Jacobs was pretty much the focal point of this offense. And PFF did seem to love Josh Jacobs. They graded him as the third highest player among running backs in the NFL. So there's no doubt the Packers are really building a offense that is really focused on running the ball. They have bolstered the offensive line, gotten a lot bigger there, added Aaron Banks, moved on from Josh Myers, moving Jenkins to center. Hopefully his contract situation gets figured out so he can come in and start in training camp. But I think this is a very good offense. I think that they have room to improve. They were a top 10 unit last year. They were very, very good a majority of the season. They just have to play better football in big moments. We saw in that Eagles game, it was just ugly. You can't do that in a playoff game. And Jordan Love needs to play better and be more consistent overall. So those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below, whether you agree or disagree. And if you want more Packers content, feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.